Hello, guys. One of my students commented that I overthink a lot. How do we solve it? So, this happens a lot that in between your study, you might get a thought and you might start thinking about it a lot. It might be fear that your course is not completed. How will you complete the entire revision? Or you may see something online. You may see your competitor or your friend who has done a little more than you, and you might start wondering a lot about it. Sometimes we just get stuck in this loop of thoughts and we waste hours and hours and hours, and then later on we are like we are not able to bring ourselves back to study. And so how do we fix this? Trust me, I'm not going to be talking about meditation in this video because it does not always work for all of us, especially in these stressful conditions. So let's start off. I have some very important points. Make sure you watch this video till the end, and one by one try to follow each of these points. You will see a difference in your mental health and performance. First and foremost, why do we feel stress? Why do we feel emotional? You have to understand how this works. Generally, a lot of stress is related to your productivity. So that means, let's say you have set a target. Today I'm going to finish 4 chapters. Now you try to study nicely. By the end of the day, let's say out of 4 chapters, you have finished 2.5 chapters or 3 chapters. Now, because you have not met your target, that's when the stress starts kicking in. So generally, the stress and overthinking starts when your performance is not as per your expectation. Same way, let's say you're doing 1 chapter. You think that this chapter will get finished in 4 hours. But in 4 hours, you only finished half of the chapter. Now the stress starts kicking in. As in, how am I going to finish this chapter? When will this get finished? Why is it taking too much time? What is wrong with me? If this is taking so much time, how will the next chapter be affected? When will I finish the whole syllabus? When will I finish that subject? Then what you do is you make a mistake. You leave that chapter there itself and you take up a new topic, you keep jumping from one thing to another, stressing about it. So you have to understand that the stress gets triggered when your target is not met. So is that a problem? No, it's not a problem. Your target not being met is not a problem because this happens with everyone. The thing is, when you set up a plan, that plan generally doesn't work out. No matter what your target is, you will somehow meet 90% of it. Sometimes we just lose out on that 10%. So it's fine. The way to approach it is that instead of being attached to that target, that I have to finish this target, otherwise I will not pass, otherwise I will not complete this course. Instead of attaching your emotions and feelings to that target, you have to assess realistically. After one full day of work, you have to check how much you have performed, whether your performance was up to par or not. Full day you had, whether you have studied effectively 8 to 9 hours or not, whether you have not wasted any time here and there. See, the first time you study a subject, it generally takes a little bit longer because you are solving every single question by your own hand, you are understanding new concepts, you're reading theory by yourself. Okay, it takes time. So give yourself that leverage. Okay, only the second time and the third time, the speed increases to study. So if you're taking time but you're not wasting time here and there, whenever you're studying, you are effectively studying, you're deriving 8 to 9 effective hours, you're not wasting time here and there. Please be satisfied. Learn to be satisfied. Learn to evaluate yourself based on how much you've put in the effort rather than seeing the target completion. Okay, so understand this, that 90% of the students, including me myself when I was studying, we don't hit all the targets that we set. 90% or 80% of the targets are met. The plan also gets completed 80%, 90%. If you plan to do 3 revisions, you will probably finish 2.5 revisions only. Is that enough to pass? Most important question. Is that enough to pass? Yes, 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 yes. It's the quality of study that matters ultimately. If you have studied in good quality, you will remember things in the exam. Versus if you're just finishing up everything, just trying to meet deadlines, just trying to brush up everything, it will not help in the exam. So quality over quantity, always understand this. So this is an understanding you need to have. Okay, once you have this understanding, you will be more regulated in your emotions. Even if you do not meet your targets, even if you do not complete your plan, you will still be relaxed because you have given your best. There is nothing more you could have done. You have sat full day. You have not wasted any time. You have made the best decisions possible. Let's move on to the next point. What is your food for mind? Whatever goes into your mind is what your mind is going to process. Your mind is so fertile at this time. You're so focused, you're constantly studying hour after hour. So your mind is very, very fertile. In this fertile mind, whatever you're going to feed, that's going to grow. If you're studying, you will think about study all the time. You will even dream about studying, you might have noticed, all the time. Versus if in between study, let's say you go on YouTube, you watch one of your favorite channels on YouTube, and sadly that channel has said something negative. Exam is going to be tough, or it's hard to pass, or something about the institute. Now you've heard that information. Now that information will stay in your mind, and it will create negative thoughts, and you will become stressed. Same way, let's say you were having a good time, and now suddenly you're talking to a friend or a relative, and they say something negative. Oh my god, this exam is so difficult. That friend of mine, he did not pass the exam. He gave it 3 times, 4 times. Now, if that kind of thought has come into your mind, of course, it will get processed in your mind. And then your mind is going to overthink about it. So, the best way to avoid the trap of overthinking and negative thinking is just feed your mind with the positive things. Okay? Do not feed your mind with anything negative. So cut off all the channels that speak negatively, cut off all the friends and family members who speak anything negatively to you, to anyone else also. They just gossip. Just cut them off. Only keep those people around you in your life that speak positively, that are helping you. Otherwise, cut them off. It's only a matter of 3 months, 4 months. It's only a matter of this much time. You don't have to explain to anybody that please don't talk to me like this. No, nobody's going to understand. Okay, rather just cut them off politely, and after the exams you can reconnect back. I'm not saying don't reconnect, okay, but as of now, limit what you put in your mind. Trust me, it works. Okay, third most important thing is you got to pray. Yeah, please, you got to pray. When you wake up in the morning, whoever you believe in, please pray. When you sleep, before sleeping, pray. Whoever you believe in. Why? Because we are just human beings. There is somebody, something out there which is way above us, way more powerful than us. And if someone's more powerful than us, why not ask for help? And when you pray, I want you to pray in the right way. That means, first of all, you have to be grateful for whatever good things that you have in your life. You have to count a few blessings. That is step number 1 in praying. Secondly, then you have to then talk about your fears, that I'm scared about my exam. And third, ask for strength. Okay, don't ask God that they should just pass you. Doesn't work. You have to ask for the strength. What strength? Please God, give me the strength so that I can study the best way possible, so that I complete everything that is going to come in the exam, so that I become the best possible version of myself, and so accordingly I will pass. If you're getting distracted a lot, ask God to keep you away from distraction, that save me from distractions, give me the strength to avoid distractions so that I'm fully focused in my studies. Okay, so these are the 3 steps you have to follow. So pray in such a way. First of all, thank God for whatever you already have, then surrender all your fears, and then finally ask for strength. If you do this regularly, trust me, you will develop this confidence inside you, this faith inside you, and you will study without the stress. But this will make you detached from the result. See, ultimately, your mindset has to come to a point where you are every day studying nicely, you're putting in the karma, you're putting in the efforts, but also you're not very attached to the result. You just want to be the best version of yourself. You want to have the best preparation so that in the exam, you actually are able to write 90% of the paper nicely. If you do that, automatically you will pass. So your goal is not to pass, to pass, to pass. You're not obsessing about passing. You are obsessing about being the best and giving the best performance that you can give. That's your goal. And finally, fourth, I was also an overthinker, okay? So I had written in front of me that to avoid the trap of thinking, stay busy, okay? So if you're working all the time, if you're busy solving questions throughout the day, you will not have time to think. That was my funda. Okay, so that's what I used to do. So I used to keep myself occupied throughout the day. If I got stuck in this loop of overthinking, I would sit down and study one chapter or another. If I did not feel like studying this chapter, I would go to another chapter and do it, or I would do revision, or I would solve papers. Basically, I would keep myself busy, and I would have a notepad on the side, and I would write down the thought that I had. Okay. And then I would tell myself that, okay, I'm going to come back to this thought later, and I will think about this thought later. And then I would go back to studying. That's what I used to do. And most of the time it worked. Okay. So the more busy you are, the less time you will have to think. Okay. So try to bring your concentration to your studies. And finally, the last perfect mantra to avoid overthinking is that, see, if you're performing, you will not be stressed. And if you're stressed, most likely you're not performing. That's why that stress is coming up. Okay. So perform when no one is watching. No matter how you're feeling sad, you're feeling good, no matter what is happening, perform in your study room, in your library. The more effective hours of study you bring out, the more chapters you tick, the better you will feel, the more confident you will feel, the less stressed you will feel. Most likely, the days on which you are feeling too stressed are also the days when you have wasted time. So reverse it, and you'll fix everything. Study and your stress will be gone. Also, exam may visualizing is very, very useful. You should learn how to visualize for the exams. So therefore, watch this video next. It will really help you learn visualizing and its power.